Surprise, surprise, it's constitutional. You got, and here's where I'm coming back to it.
You can make a bomb.
No, it didn't say make a bomb. Remember, it said put instructions for how to make a bomb. And one of the groups said freedom of speech. It's also kind of in freedom of press. You're putting it in print. Do you have the right to voice your opinions and what you know in print? Yes. Now, if they took that and created a bomb and bombed a group that was in a peaceful assembly, would that be legal? No, that would be terrorism or the other things you guys said. But you have the right. Let's go to, there are groups in the U.S., like the KKK. They have the right to their opinion, but do they have the right to force their beliefs on anyone else? No. Because they have freedom of speech. And some of these others we talked about, you have to decide, is this protected? In the amendment thing, what are the 5 things that are protected for you? What are the 3 freedoms and the 2 other protections? Freedom of speech. What's another one?
Freedom of the press.
Freedom of the press.
Freedom of religion.
Freedom of religion. Then there's 2 that are harder to understand at the end. And Olivia, no, whose group was this? Christian, y'all mentioned one. What's the other right they have?
To peaceably assemble.
To peaceably assemble in a group, kind of like they did in the video. What's the last one? And that's the one people always forget about. What does it say your last protected thing is?
Redress.
To petition the government for redress of your grievances. Anybody know what that actually means? What do you do when you petition somebody?
It's kind of what they did when the colonists got angry with King George.
Okay, that was their grievances. You're right.
Signatures.
You get signatures to get them to redress your grievances, to correct and acknowledge and do something about your grievances. So all of that is protected in this one little right. Now, we as citizens think creating a bomb is horrible because we see what's going on in the world. But you can put those instructions up there all you want. That is not illegal because you have the right to put information out there in press. You don't have the right to hurt others, right? Okay, so one of your other scenarios was the one about the little girl in the cafeteria. Which one was that in the cafeteria? Anybody remember?
The teacher made them remember to say grace before the lesson.
The teacher told the kids, remember to say grace before you eat your lunch. Is that constitutional for her to tell them that?
Yes.
How many think no? How many think yes? Ooh, a bunch of you are surprised. I can't tell you that you have to pray before you eat. And why can't I tell you to pray before you eat?
Because that's your religion.
Because then I'm forcing my beliefs on you that it's important to pray before you eat.
Well, what if they have to go for the same religion as that?
Now, if you were like in a Christian school, like a Catholic school
What
or
if
another,
in a Christian school?
then you could say that because everybody in that school is usually that same religion. That would be different. But today, I couldn't tell you, every one of y'all need to bow your head and pray right now, right? Because you have freedom of religion. And I don't think even in this room, all of us have the same religion. Because I know in this room, there's some Baptist, there's some Church of Christ, there's some Catholic, at least in this room. And we don't all have the same beliefs, so I can't tell you you've got to pray. Okay? That's in there. Then we had this scenario about the disgruntled employee who decides they're going to publicly voice their opinions in the middle of the city square, talking about the faults of the presidential office. That's very current right now. Do you have that constitutional right to voice your complaints against the president or whoever's running?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Freedom of press.
Freedom of the press. All right, now let's go back. If you have freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of the press, what's your responsibility in that? What's your responsibility in freedom of speech? But that's your right. What's your responsibility? What do you owe other people when you voice your opinions? That it's generally true and that it's respectful of others. Anything else? That you keep it, these two, so that it doesn't get out of hand. What about freedom of religion? You have that right, so what's your responsibility to people with other religions?
To not try to enforce your beliefs on other people.
Very good. To not try to force your beliefs on other people, but more importantly, you need to be what of other people's beliefs?
Respectful.
Respectful and tolerant. Okay. Now the last one, the right to stand up make an assembly downtown and complain, which is your right, peaceful assembly. What's your responsibility? If you're going to bring a group together to voice complaints, what's your responsibility?
You gotta agree on everything else.
You don't do, like, as long as there's no violence.
No violence. You have a responsibility to make it peacefully so no one gets physically hurt, right? Okay, now, once you turn your sticky note over, on the back of it, I want you to write down one thing you learned today that you did not know.